I was needed to do the fundraising, the outreach, and then our preservation projects, our preservation outreach.
Speaking of that, the Colonel Fabian, of course, he built those 2 laboratories in the lodge that were just west of the villa.
Yes.
And they were not acquired by the Forest Preserve.
Yeah.
They were privately owned. When you learned the owners of those buildings wanted to tear them down, what did you do?
Well, that probably involved one of the 2 controversies that I had that were major during my tenure, and it was the successful one. We did not initiate that at all, and what happened was the Fabian Foundation consisted at that point of 3 men. It was a board of 3 men that we knew that were, one was a former mayor, one was a prominent banker, and I believe he still was the banker then, and the third one, I am not positive what his role was in the community, but they were having trouble selling this property, and so they had decided that the buildings had to be torn down, and then they could sell the property and they could get monies, and I'm not sure what they were going to be for. Now, they had this mission to give money for education, and they had to do that every year. In the meantime, this young man, Doug Curry was had the role of Michael Lambert, but he was younger, quite a bit younger, which became a little bit of an issue among these 3 men. We call them the 3 amigos. They were called the 3 amigos by various people, including the owners of the house. But Doug said, and so the city of Geneva initiated a declaration of a local landmark.
Oh, okay.
They initiated it, and they initiated over the wishes of the 3 men. They did. And so we all went and testified, and it was sort of drawn out, and the Preservation Commission was of course in favor of that, and then they got it through City Council as well. I don't remember if that was, I don't remember what kind of battle that was. But then immediately this couple came in from Naperville and bought the house and said, this is what we want. We've restored a old stone house like this in Naperville. Yeah. We want bigger house, and we also want a building that my husband can use for his office. So the Hackendals, for his business,
right,
office and business, the Hackendals came in, they kept renting those 2 buildings in the interim while they fixed up the main building. Just an extremely superb job of restoration of the main building, very authentic. I lived in that main building when I was a little girl between 2 and 4. Really? It was rented out by the Fabian estate, and my grandfather knew somebody, and so my family, who didn't have a lot of money, and Dad just came back from the military, and so I was there from the age of some 46 to 48
wow.
In that house.
Do you remember that very much?
I have a memory. It's a very weird, strange memory. And I also...
Want to share that or no?
Well, yes. I mean, apparently I took my mother's wedding ring off her dresser,
Uh-oh.
and then I carried it around outside, and I lost it. Oh, yes.
Oh.
So I kept telling Bonnie Hackendall, you need to take a metal detector over there. And my brother and I could just remember us hand in hand, trooping around. My brother was 2, I was 4, trooping around this house. Where had I walked? Where had I dropped it? And it was, yeah. So that's my memory.
That's a little traumatic, maybe.
And I have a few memories of being inside, just a very few.
Uh-huh.
But the Hackendals were outstanding caretakers and stewards of this property, and they got a big award from Landmarks Illinois. I mean, they got the major award one year, and as did their architects, and they did this splendid job. And then the same thing with the wedding cake building, we call that. Yeah. That was renovated, and they didn't want people to come into their house, the public to come in at all. But they could come into under planned circumstances, they could go into the wedding cake building. And we did that on several occasions for programs. And then they continued to let the people in the back, and they still may be renting that acoustics business in the back there.
Yeah.
That's not in the wedding cake building. I think that's still going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they still are doing that or not, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was when I retired.
Yeah.
And the Hackendahls, then, when they bought that whole property, they were given permission at the time to say in the future they could take sections to the west and to the south, and they could develop it. And that has happened now.
Oh, okay.
That's happened. So if you go by there, there's a townhouse development.
Right.
But it doesn't really impinge on the property.
Oh.
It does not at all. And one of the nice things about giving tours in the villa, when you're in Colonel Fabian's room, you know, you're looking right out those wonderful windows at the estate over there, and you at Riverbank, and you can talk about it and give lots of interpretive material because there it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a case there with things in it too, the books and some of the tools they used for for the acoustics and for other things, and for coding, for decoding. So we have that there, and it really lends itself because short of going into the building, you know, of the house, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it.